Welcome to another episode of Try Bonsai. It's your boy, Vanna, and I know it has been a while, but sometimes so it does go. Anyways, my friends, thank you for joining me. Today we're going to do a couple quick things. As you could see right now, what I have in front of me here, or in front of you rather, is Premna, my Premna root over rock planting that I'm going to give you a better look at in a short. But just to let you know what we're going to do today, I'm going to prune this back from all of this nice long extending growth and, continuously work on it to eventually create what I want to create. Now, initially what I wanted was something of a canopy, but it ended up kind of being a flat top kind of a situation. So what I have to do now through selective pruning is to try to create that canopy with a little bit of roundedness to the top rather than a flat top. So that's what I'm going to do today. Give it a prune, and over time, keep making sure the direction of the branches go where I want them to go. Apart from that, I'm going to do a quick repot on a small Texas Ebony. It has been struggling in the soil that it has been in, and I mixed up a batch of new soil that I'm going to talk about when I'm repotting it. So, on that note, let me just go. As you can see, my friends, this is the root over rock Premna planting that I have. And what I did is that I put the smaller pot into this larger tile pot. And the roots have escaped and it has gone down to the dirt in the tile pot. This is a good and a bad thing. A bad thing in the sense that when it's time to take it out, it will be a little bit of tempo. But it's a good thing in the sense that as this is a much smaller pot, it allows for, as the roots are getting room to run, it allowed for faster development and being able to kind of, take a better grip on this rock that I have it on here. So as we go around, and I have to kind of dodge all of the long extending bits of growth. You could see it, and as you could see the potential canopy, we have a lot of long growth. So we're going to have to make some pretty serious cuts with some direction, as I mentioned before, so that as we go along, we get what we want to create. Yeah, and I don't know, whoever deals in Premna don't smell nice at all. Oof. But it's a nice species to work with. So let's go. So my friends, first things first, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a technique from Nigel and take one of my cutting tools and just cut back, and then we're going to go in for a more detailed cut. Yeah, so let me get to that. Some pretty decent cuts, taking off all of the long extending bits of growth. This is all the branches that I took off, and with this particular species you have to be a little bit careful because they root quite easily from cuttings. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go in and do a little bit of directional pruning, creating a bit more space between some of the branches and looking for items that will help me create that slighted rounded canopy that I want. Because if you look at, and I'm going to try to zoom in a bit, if you look at here, it sinks in, so I want stuff to come up to meet on top here. So I have to let some items grow to kind of bring that center up. Yeah, because everything is nice and fanning out, but I have to get, I like the height of it in terms of the branches on the outskirts, but the center, I would like for the center to come up and meet so that I could get what I want eventually. So I'm going to go in now and remove items that are pointing in directions that I don't want, and try to encourage the items that I do want to grow, giving me what I want eventually. Yeah? So let me try to see if I can move the camera a little bit. The sun is quite hot. And as you know, it's my phone, and oh yeah, so let's go. So let's see what's happening. Okay, so I put a piece of cardboard behind to act as a screen so that you could see more clearly what I'm doing. Now, with this cardboard here, I can't necessarily turn the turntable, so I'll have to turn the entire plant. Not describing every single cut that I'm going to make, but I am going to try to encourage, as I prune back some items, better growth. Now I have a big fella here going across this way, which could shade out other guys. So I'm gonna have to remove him completely from this planting because he's not going in the direction that I want. So he is gone. And I'm looking at concentrating on this side. So I have a guy coming out here that I could remove. And this guy going to the back here that I could remove. Somebody underneath here. And I removed something here that I should not have removed all of, because I wasn't seeing properly. So sometimes mistakes are made, and I just made one. But there is the potential for something else to come out from this spot, because this branch is a little bit long. Now what I can do is cut this branch back here and hope for something else to start forming at the point here. So I can do that by cutting it back here to create more of better ramification in the future, because this branch comes out quite straight. So I'm going to cut it back here. And let's see what develops from this point. If nothing develops from this point, I have these coming out here that can be developed. So I'm going to go around the tree, removing items that I don't want, and items, as I said, pointing in odd or bad directions. Okay, so clearly I've not done this in a while, so I made a very big boo-boo. I thought I was recording the pruning, but I was not. However, I do humbly apologize, but this is what I was able to do, to accomplish. I left one or two guys inside here that are going to grow long, and over time we're going to do some directional pruning to create, as I said, I want to create a more rounded canopy. But this is what I was able to do with the tree so far. Looks kind of good to me. Not kind of good. It looking nice. It looking nice. Let me turn it so you could see a side profile. And as you see it in the side, you're seeing it from above. Let me bring it down. Here, this is it, my friends. So, without skipping a beat, let's move on swiftly to repotting that Texas Ebony plant. Yeah, there we go. My friends, is the Texas Ebony, and it should have been a lot more advanced than it is now. This was an air layer that I took off, that I did, and it survived. It was one of 3, I believe. The other 2 died. This one survived. However, I believe it has been struggling in this soil and fighting for dear life in this soil. So I am going to change it and give it a fresh batch of soil into a bonsai training pot. Now, based on that, I may have to do a little bit of clipping on the roots, but not too much. Yeah, so there we go. So I've taken the planting out of the soil. There are some long roots, however, not much great root work happening. So what I'm going to do is to carefully remove this extended bit from the air layer and plant it into a bonsai training pot with a fresh batch of soil that I mixed up yesterday. Didn't record it, apologies, but it is a mixture of Promix, perlite, additional perlite, because the Promix comes with perlite in it, but I put some additional perlite in it. There's a little bit of vermiculite in it. There is sharp sand and rabbit manure in this soil mix. It is nice and light and airy because mixing soil has been an ongoing process with me, taking into consideration that where I live, I don't get as much sun. Parts of the yard does not get as much sun, or the entire yard doesn't get as much sun as it should. So certain parts get more sun at times, and the sun changes direction as the day progresses. What that means is that in my space, there's a bit more humidity. So the soil needs to be freer draining. And I believe that is one of the reasons why I have suffered some losses, because of the lack of drainage. So let me not talk any further. Let me get this into a batch of soil and let's see, 1, that this survives, and 2, how we can work on it and develop it over time. Yeah. So as you can see, that is a pot in the back there that it came out of, and I'm going to put it into this nice little training pot, and let's see how it goes. So let's go. Just to give you a closer view of what the soil mix looks like. This is nice and light and airy, my friends. So hopefully this mix that I have done here now would be my permanent mix. Now, just a little tidbit to mention. With these soil mixes, not everyone could go out there and get perlite and all these various things. So what you have to do, and what I try to do, is to operate within my means and to operate with things that are sustainable. So in the event that I can't get any more perlite, or I can't get any more rabbit manure, or whatever the case is, I'll make sure that I have at least the sharp sand and the Promix or the potting soil, so that I could make it as free draining as possible and the soil has nutrients. Yeah, so this is the soil. Let me get to potting. Put some soil into the pot. Now we're going to place the plant, making sure that I could get some kind of radial root spread with the roots. As you can see on this side, there aren't very many roots, but that could be developed over time. I don't want to scar this side to put rooting hormone right now. What I'm going to do is to plant it and hope that this develops and encourages more. You know, I hope. It's a good hope. So let's go with this. So my friends, what I'm going to do is to look at a potential front for the tree. Is this a good front for now? This seems to be a good front. And I know you're looking at the base of it, but I'm going to show you the entire tree in a shot. So let me get these roots into some soil before I cause any more trouble with this thing. And then I'll show you what I did. So right now, the existing roots, I'm making sure and spreading them out nicely so that I could get a radial root spread in the soil, as radial as possible, because as you know, the top of the tree is a reflection of the roots. This soil is nice and airy and light, unlike other versions of soil that I would have made in the past. All right, now I've taken the opportunity to water the tree, remove some old knobs or cut point stubs from it, and give it a good watering. Friends, I am pleased with this new batch of soil that I have, boy. Woo-wee! This is excitement. The water drains nice and free. There's enough to hold the moisture to feed the tree, and the soil is rich. So I'm hoping that things that I repot into this new batch of soil take off like a bat out of hell or shoot off like a bullet, or whatever the case is, you know. But this is it. Let me go in a bit closer just to show you guys. So hold a second. So this is it here. I put a stone just to, to tie down anything. I have a nice branch coming off on the side here, and some nice bits of development happening going all the way up to the top. I removed a dead branch that was coming out here, and as I said, I cut back some stubs. So this is the potential front. I think it's a good front for it. There's a little lean as I turn the tree. You're going to see a bit of a lean, but then it straightens up. This is the back, which ain't so bad, This could serve as a front as well, because it straightens up to you. So either which way is a good front. And this is the other side, and back to one of the fronts. Don't put it like that. Back to one of the fronts. So, my friends, that is it for today. Simple, short, to the point. You know my usual. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. Treat people how you want to be treated. Before I say the rest, thank you so very, very much for all who have subscribed to my channel. Thank you for following me on this journey. Yes, there has been some pauses in it, but necessary pauses to combat with everything that has been happening in life. But I'm still here, I'm still working, still doing stuff. Just not so much on camera. As I said, be good to yourself, be good to others, treat people how you want to be treated, and remember that our climate is our responsibility. We have an opportunity to change it for the better. If not for ourselves, let's do it for the future generations. Yeah? Like, subscribe, share, and I will see you all soon. Take care, and take care of your well-being.